Well, I'll do it. We'll do it live. Hi, Maple. Get out of here. Shoo. I love you too, girl.
Today, on a very spooky edition of Only Weird Games, what if Mike Pennel didn't come back to the Kansas City Chiefs? What if the Bills won one of these games in the playoffs? Ooh!
I just figured if we're talking about things that aren't going to happen, we might as well start big.
Yeah, baby.
Audience, I started this while wearing my skeleton zip-up hoodie, which led to the comment of the show so far. I see Josh is on Seth's diet plan now, too. That's crazy. And the appropriate energy for this edition of Only Weird Games, the bones of Joshua Brisco here with Seth Keysor and Nate Taylor. Yeah, the delay was because I was sliding into this costume. That was the problem. No, I may bring out the A-list costume on everything else tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. This is just the day before Halloween to kind of set the stage. With that being said, we're ready to set the stage for a huge game here in the AFC. We've had some weird matchups these last few weeks, fellas. The Commanders and Raiders games especially didn't quite have the aura of some of the earlier matchups, but we're so back.
Sure. I want the podcast audience to appreciate that. While Josh was in a Bones costume, I am wearing a hat that says literally chill out. I am wearing my my lovely Tiki Taco like chill out bro hat. So Seth does not have a costume or a hat. He's just here to just stat us down. Stat me down, baby. Here we go. Come on, Seth. Tell me why this Chiefs team is ready to drag another team in blue and red down the field, up and down the field. Just drag them like they're freaking rag dolls. Come on. Stat me down.
I am very, I'm pretty excited about the opportunity for the Chiefs to play the Bills. They got a great organization over there. Josh Allen's a great quarterback.
Josh, get the bingo card out. Put the different one. The other bingo
McDermott's
card.
had multiple.
That has become a thing. Get the other bingo card out. Oh God, is that the Andy Reid bingo card? Go ahead, Josh. Go ahead, Seth.
McDermott's really coached up that defense real well for a while. They're well coached. They're disciplined. You always gotta, be careful what new looks they're gonna send your way.
James Cook, what a weapon!
What a weapon!
James Cook's a real weapon. They got a lot of guys there that can get you. Keon Coleman wins a lot of contested passes.
Keon Coleman gets a lot of separation.
Dalton Kincaid,
Hold on, you can't lie, guys. You can't lie. You have to say, Keon Coleman, highly drafted. They really liked him.
Yep, great player, Jim Rat, exactly.
No, you're lying again.
Still.
Look, the Bills have beaten the Chiefs during the regular season constantly for a while. Their defense, I'm actually, and I know we're gonna get into all of this.
I'm in the building, last to leave. Jordan Poyer, yep, had to bring him back, had to bring him home. Look, guys, it's the end of bring him home game. Jordan Poyer and the guy at the bottom of our screen. Oh, did I mention Matt Milano? What a Hall of Fame
You haven't
player.
mentioned Matt Milano yet.
I mean,
you
just
can't,
an absolute
you can't talk about the
tackling
Bills without
machine.
talking about Matt Milano. Seth, Matt
Correct.
Milano.
Matt Milano. What more can we say?
I don't know, but I'm certain it'll be something. And
some people say he's a Hall of Famer already.
Yeah. Well, they just Josh Allen consistently plays well against the Chiefs. Gabe Davis is going to be active. He's done a lot of good things against the Chiefs.
Welcome home, Gabe Davis.
The Chiefs have played, other than the Lions, a pretty easy schedule during their win streak, and even with the game that they lost to the Jags, which I still every time
we mention it,
every time I look back at the Chiefs' schedule and I look at like what they've done, from week 3 on, that L to Jacksonville just stares at me. Like,
Seth, can I try to make it a little less spooky for you?
it's the AFC West. Ooh.
Sure.
You know what they don't have looking back at them? 2 games ago? A 10-point loss to the Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons with everybody on the field. Ooh. Now, that was before we saw the corpse that is Kirk Cousins. But,
That's still a team that got shut out by the Panthers, right? Like, I mean, that was that team.
True. That was that team. Hey, but Monday night, that's the home team. It's the road dogs. I don't know.
I got nothing.
They
You're
lost
not
to
spooked?
Penix.
I mean, here's the deal. I mean, I can be spooked in terms of, I mean, Josh Allen's great,
Zombie Kirk Cousins.
and the Chiefs have struggled to the Chiefs have struggled to defend running quarterbacks this year. I don't know if you guys
say.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but Josh Allen runs the ball a lot.
And Steve Spagnuolo said, "What spy?" I'm sorry. It's early November. What spy?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I-
Did I spy last November? No, we didn't. No.
I don't see that happening. So I don't know. I got nothing. I'm run out of points. Let's be spooky.
Okay, well let's see if there's any spooks or scares on the injury report, Nate Taylor. Nate, more like Nate Naylor. Nope, can't. Hardly know her. Josh Simmons still not around. Obviously, not a surprise there. He's not here, so don't expect to see him against the Bills. Isaiah Pacheco has not practiced this week. I think we knew by Tuesday it was trending that direction, but we knew we'd have the update from Wednesday, Thursday practices today. Obviously not expecting to see him. Nate, Hollywood Brown did not practice on Wednesday due to an illness, but he was a full participant today.
Yes.
And the most interesting one, and good to see Nick Bolton be a full participant with his knee thing, which is, I think, as specific as we got. Trey Smith has been limited both days with his back thing. I think Andy Reid used lower back spasms at one point, or somebody said spasms. Locked up on him, as Andy says. So I think the only real questions right now are probably... the only real question is probably Trey Smith, because it's good news on Hollywood, right?
Right, yeah. I expect Hollywood Brown to be available. He practiced full today. Because of what we've seen so far with Trey Smith, again, you're just trying to be managing the back. Again, this is not January, so you don't need to necessarily push it.
I have to go help my wife bring in stuff from Costco. I'll be right back.
No, Seth.
Colt?
No, Seth. Seth,
No.
you're about to
Turn
Don't
into a ghost and go
Don't
invisible.
Don't leave us with the cult. The cult wants your membership card and then nothing else but your soul. Which they already have my soul. Anyway,
I've sold mine a few
as does
times
the
already.
Lord
I don't
Jesus
think that-
Christ. Yeah.
Oh,
Right. It's like Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Costco. Anyway.
They have an agreement. It's crazy, but Jesus Christ and Costco, they have like a leasing deal.
What if I
Costco gets
told-
you for the next 25 years.
Right. What if I told you?
That's not because you're going to die in 25 years. This isn't Death Note. Costco's not Death Note.
Well, they do like to say, don't you want 44 bags of chips that you're only going to eat 37? Profit margins, mofo. Anyway, Mr. Brisco, my son's local elementary school had the old trunk or treat on Friday. There were 2 different trunks of Costco employees that do not work at Costco. I said, they're a cult. They have us. It's too late. Let them go. But look at the gas prices. Shut up. Kirtland branded candy. It's the worst. But yeah, we buy it.
Yeah, they have some good stuff.
Well, look. All this is to say is that Trey Smith might not play on Sunday. You know what? That's perfectly fine because it's early November. And the more, I do think there is a conspiratorial nature to Andy Reid when it comes to his poor, Padawan, Sean McDermott, where he's like, but hey, this is a game where we actually play Josh Uche. You'll never see him again. There's just so, here's Najee Johnson. Go out there and cover him in man-to-man with a 0 blitz. They did so much conspiratorial nonsense that I just love to see it again, which means, hey, you might see Mike Caliendo in which you might not want to see him in January when you have Trey Smith, healthy and getting 2 extra weeks on that lower back. So it makes perfect sense, even though he is limited. We know he wants to play, but again, you might go through this smartly and just say, hey, we will see Isaiah Pacheco, we will see Trey Smith after the bye week. Hopefully nothing crazy happens in Buffalo from an injury standpoint. But, look, what if we got Brashard Smith 50% of the snaps? Because you're definitely going to see that in January, right? Right? So how many of these, curveballs – I do love Nate Dogg. What if we put Drew Tranquil as the deep safety? Something to put on tape. Hey, guys, go back and rewatch that matchup from early November when we see you guys in the division round or perhaps the AFC Championship game. Oh, right, that's right. None of the 11 guys on the field will be on the field on the upcoming Sunday with the season on the line. So there's a lot of funniness to all of this, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Mike Pennel more than we saw Trey Smith or Isaiah Pacheco on Sunday's game.
That is so fascinating. And yes, we will go ahead and mention now, Mike Pennel is back. Chris Jones was dapping him up in the indoor practice facility. We have seen the footage as shot by one Nate Taylor. Let's mention that real quick since you brought him up and before Seth returns to talk more about Chiefs Bills and the short yardage of it all.
Correct.
We thought it made all the sense in the world. We gave you some of the details on Tuesday, but you think there is a very legitimate chance that Mike Pennel is out there,
yes,
a workman's load,
yes,
on Sunday against the Bills, as he should be. Active roster spot, by the way. That might have been one bit of question we could have had. Active roster spot. They let Malik Herring go, and I imagine that they'll bring him back on the practice squad if they can, but I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, I think the hope is that they bring Malik Herring back next week. Cool. But yeah, the funny thing in all this is they know they have to play this man if he's healthy, got a full week of practice, not on the injury report. Just saying. So I think we'll see a fair amount of Mike Pennel. One of the more fascinating things that went through my mind today is because he was 119 out of 119, it can only go up from here for Derek Nottie, but you have to give those snaps to someone who's actually worth a damn. Yeah. And you don't want Jerry Tillery to be your one tech. That can't happen, right? Omar Norman Lott, unfortunately, not walking through that door for the rest of this season. They don't have anybody else. I know who they brought up for a game of not as much significance or as importance on Monday. And Tuiopou, but it actually might serve both players, both Mike Pennel and Derek Nottie, to actually split the reps that they're actually good at. First and second down, eating gaps, getting penetration, being which is hilarious that Steve Spagnuolo says this, but you have to be serious about it when it comes to the fact that we know he ain't gonna spy, and B, we know Josh Allen's legs are really, really important. Hey, that guy in the middle still has to have pass rush lane integrity. Right. And so I would give the advantage to Mike Pennel in that category if you need somebody next to him, if it's not Jerry Tillery, if it's not Mike Dana or Charles Omenihu in that sort of, interior spot with Chris Jones on third down. So look, the fact that Steve Spagnuolo said he's a good player today was the best quote I needed. Was the absolute best quote, because I'm not sure Steve Spagnuolo was okay with them getting rid of Mike Pennel. when your defensive coordinator says, well, you guys know him and we love him and he's a good player, it's then what was the front office doing, sir? Well, they were trading for, a lesser version of the same player, but Sky Moore, we got to pick for Sky Moore, but also, yeah, he's back after 8 games.
Seth, we just organically bounced to the Mike Pennel section of the show. Anything that you want to add? I know you didn't hear what Nate just said, but any thoughts now that Pennel is officially back? Nate's saying you should expect to see him against Buffalo, which I think makes all the sense in the world. Yeah, well, James Cook is arguably the second most important player on the offense, and I don't even know how arguable it is.
I don't think that's what I thought you were going to say. He's the second best running back in the league behind Jonathan Taylor, which I do think is also trending towards a fact alongside him being the second best player on Buffalo's offense.
And yeah, he's just a huge part of what they do. He's having a monster year. They run block really well. They do a good job setting him up in terms of some of the stuff that threatens to use Allen as a runner. They're just really, really tough to deal with. And having Pennel in allows you to run heavy in certain ways that isn't quite as much of an option when you don't have a second nose tackle. And so it allows you to rotate a little bit.
Yes.
It gives you an extra guy to rotate with Chris Jones.
Yes.
So there's and plus he knows the defense. He knows what Spags likes. There's every reason to believe that he can come in and play, 10, 15 snaps, no problem. And honestly, the rest of this...
Hey, Tom Lester, I know you're right. Brett Veach did say that it was a youth movement the day after Mike Pennel got cut. Who in the world is the youth?
I would also say Mike
when
Pennel
they went out and got Derek Nottie
than he was then. Yeah, I mean,
the youth movement technically, their youth movement this year was technically Omar Norman Lott and Ashton Jalati. Now the crazy thing is, and all three of us agreed, you needed Omar Norman Lott to learn under Chris Jones so that you could give Chris Jones, guess what, a break. Not for him to be your, hey, let's see you put pounds. Let's see you eat these these steaks and these potatoes and see if you might be like a 1.5 tech. And you're like, no. So again, their youth movement was, hey, why don't we get is Derek Nottie 29 or is he 30?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Okay, but that was the youth movement. Just hilarious. Go ahead, Seth. Sorry.
Sure. I don't know, we talked about it a ton at the time. It never really made sense. Not just in terms of like who he is as a player, but the treatment that they gave him throughout. And then suddenly he was gone. And then people were like, oh, it's because he was terrible against the Bears in the preseason game. I went back and watched the snaps. I was like, not really. People should manage expectations. Mike Pennel is a very popular player with Chiefs fans for good reason. He's a guy that every now and then can give you a genuinely good to really good game. Mm-hmm. On a consistent basis, he can be kind of an average type nose tackle. But they need that. They need bodies on the interior. I'm glad he's back. It never really made sense to cut him loose. Again, not because he's a superstar, but because, for one, he was better than Nottie last year and the year before. Honestly, every year he's been on the team, he's been better than Derek Nottie. And that's not a shot at Derek Nottie. That's just how it is. Right. So I'm glad he's back. It makes sense to have him on the field against the Bills, especially with some of the issues the Bills have had throwing the ball as opposed to their really good running game. It is always interesting in regular season games, though, to see what Spags decides to do. I still have real concerns that this is going to continue to get this whole, it's only October treatment when you're
November.
Yeah, and that's really cute when you're 7-1. It's not when you're 5-3. So we'll see what they decide to do, but I'm glad he's back, and it should help against the run in a situational way that genuinely moves the needle.
Excuse me, Seth. I have a request for next week's for your newsletter next week. Are you ready? No. Come on. I have a request. It's called I would like an in-depth, just surgical analysis on. You got it, kids. You guessed it. Shamari Connor in the slot against Khalil Shakir.
No. Khalil Shakir scares me.
He's really good, guys.
He is. I say this in the most, and I don't know if we're moving to Chiefs and Bills Part 10 or if we need to take a break first. Again, thanks for the patience.
We will take a break whenever you've settled.
I do want to talk about Shakir because he's one of the things that I have circled in terms of this game and things that I think are really gonna matter. But I'm glad Pennell's back. It helps the defensive line. I really think stopping the run against Buffalo, this iteration of the Bills with where they are right now, that allows you to force Josh Allen to be Superman. And he can be. But you want to force it. You want to force the issue because Josh Allen really is like 98% of Patrick Mahomes a lot of the times. So good. But if he tries to force it for too long, he'll make a mistake. So I'm glad Pennell's back. Hopefully that helps them get into a few more because you need multiple 3rd and longs against the Bills because they're going to convert some. But yeah, anyway, the Beast is back, but manage your expectations too. He's like, he's old. He's a defensive tackle. Let's
You know what? You don't need to manage your expectations to Chiefs fans. The fact that you could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA right now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll take a timeout, come back, and then we'll talk a little more about Chiefs-Bills. We'll get into that slot matchup. We'll do that next.
Chiefs Kingdom, what is your favorite touchdown? By now, you guys already know that my favorite touchdown is the next one, because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. You want spreads? They got it. Over-unders? DraftKings got you covered. Same-game parlays, regular parlays? DraftKings has it, and you need it. And here's the best part. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN for new customers to turn $5 into $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, pass-through per wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
For the Chiefs defense to hold down Josh Allen and some of these pass catchers, Steve Spagnuolo is going to have to be cooking on the sideline over there. Oh, hey, Nate, what's going on?
Nothing. Just got out of the kitchen. Got my little chef here. What's up?
I'll just go ahead and cross promote both Nate and Holly Taylor's personal Instagram pages if you would like to see what Nate is wearing part of right now. It is a tremendous family costume that you guys have put together.
Why, thank you. Yeah, can I get you some linguine? Can I get you some tortellini? You know,
shouldn't you be asking if we can get you some tortellini? We can get you some linguine. I feel like it's a team effort over there, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, we need my little guy. What was that?
Can you speak to him in the movie? I can't remember.
So I don't know if this is going to really
he
work.
Needs more. Hey, we need more tomatoes. Maple, go get more tomatoes. All right.
I don't think this is really going to work. And you know what? I suppose I don't. Hold on. Let me see if I can zoom in close enough. Jazz dressed as a sea anemone for
that's awesome.
For Halloween, and then that's Lucas as a Demogorgon.
Yes, Demi.
she's so Jazz is a sea anemone. I did not ask her if I could show that.
Well,
and
I'll tell you what, she's very hard to see.
You're clear.
She's got a Nemo fish on her head, and that is one of the coolest costumes I've ever seen.
Really good. Really good.
I'm sorry to change the subject and make it about Jazz. I know I never do that.
Not changing the subject.
What?
We're talking about Halloween costumes. We're not changing the subject. Both Jazz and Nate right now are dressed up as a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
There's a crazy true thing about both of those costumes. That's insane.
Look. I mean, my guy thinks Spags needs to blitz more against Josh Allen, just for fireworks.
Sean in the chat says, real quick, as a ginger, I'm glad to welcome Nate into our ranks. Congrats, Nate. That's huge for man.
I've always been one in here.
Have you?
In my soul.
Okay. Well,
again, God, Lord and Savior, Costco,
right.
Ginger. Right.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
I think you might have missed that part, Seth, but we did some theology while you were gone. We figured you'd appreciate it.
I mean, that's why I married Mary Jane. You know, that's why I married Mary Jane. You know, she's my Mary Jane. I'm sorry, what, guys? My hair is so flowing right now.
I think the chef's hat can go, but if you take the wig off, I'm walking out. I think you have to finish the show in the wig.
No. I mean, look, they said my family. They said I had inheritance. They said I had. They said, look, I need to come in, work my way up, but one day I could be the chef of, Gusteau's. I mean, look, my name's on the. My family name's involved, guys. What else can I get you? Do you want some more ingredients?
Guys. No thanks, Nate. It'll go right through me.
All right, fine. Look, I know it's perhaps
because I'm a skeleton. Thank you, Seth. Thank you, Seth. Pearls before swine. Pearls before swine.
Just because I look like a young and sprightly 28-year-old single man doesn't mean that I don't appreciate a good dad joke.
Okay, just trying to make sure I understand.
How old I look now, right?
What we were looking for.
29?
I appreciate this comment from the Girl on Fire. So this just doesn't happen on my other Chiefs podcasts, and that's why I'm here. I will let you know, it's also why some people aren't here. So I mean, I think that breaks even at best for us. Yeah. I will take it. Let's get into Chiefs Bills. I am thrilled to start with Khalil Shakir in the slot as the actual matchup to begin with here.
Yes.
Because it does. If you were to ask me, and Nate, I'm going to pretend that despite your potential protest here, I'm going to pretend that this is a football game that does in fact matter, okay? That's the world that we're accepting here, regardless of what month it is. That's the presupposition that Seth and I are taking in.
But does it?
It does to me and Seth. It's real to us.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
This
absolutely matters.
This is a perfect time in my book, Seth, to let Trent McDuffie live in the slot. Glue yourself to Khalil Shakir when he's in there and make this a Trent McDuffie matchup, because this is not a matchup you want for Shamari Connor. And if that means more Noel Williams on the outside, give him Keon Coleman or whoever it'll be. And I think that's a worthy matchup. I think we might, if we're lucky, we'll see Christian Fulton by Thanksgiving. I don't know, or by Christmas, I was going to say. Halloween's out of the picture. So I don't know where Christian Fulton's at. I'm just kind of ignoring him until he's active.
You want who, Josh? What was that name?
Second biggest free agent acquisition.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I know.
Honestly,
neither does Steve Spagnuolo.
Bits aside, whatever, jokes aside, bits aside.
Does he practice?
Bits aside, I would be genuinely annoyed if I were Clark Hunt. I understand he's got a ton of money, but he has a $10 million cash spending this year. I would be having a conversation hey, Brett and Steve, I want both of you to come to my office, and I want you to explain this to me, and I'll listen. Because what would the Colts owner do? You know what I mean? She would just very seriously sit you down and be like, I need you to explain to me like I'm 5 why I spent $10 million on a guy that it won't play. And I'm sure there's a good explanation for it. I'm sure there is. But I would be a little annoyed. That'd be but anyway, I'm just looking up something real quick with regards to Shakir. The second highest snap count of the year, and actually the highest if you don't include a game where he saw a bunch of garbage time snaps, for Noel Williams, the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
And if you guys remember, we talked about Amon-Ra St. Brown before the game.
Correct.
Who is probably the most dangerous slot weapon in the league.
Yes.
A great receiver. I'm just when you line up Justin Jefferson in the slot, he's probably the best, or Jamar Chase. But the best guy that's a pure kind of slot type threat. I mean, Khalil Shakir's an excellent player. He's not as good as Amon-Ra St. Brown. Khalil Shakir's mom doesn't think he's better than Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I'm not upsetting anyone. It's just no, you're great, honey, but not him. Khalil Shakir is 90% of, maybe 85% of Rashee Rice, and I mean that in the most complimentary way possible. He is 90% as good, maybe 95% as good as Rashee Rice with the ball in his hands. And he does that stuff. He doesn't open up as well. He doesn't run as good of routes. But anyway, it's interesting to me that Williams had his highest non-garbage time game snap count against the Lions. This does make sense as a game where you have Trent McDuffie inside, especially given I don't want Trent McDuffie on the boundary against Keon Coleman.
Right.
Because Trent McDuffie is one of the best corners in the league, but at the catch point, he's average. And Keon Coleman's not going to separate from Josh. He wouldn't separate from Josh Williams. He's not going to separate from any of the Chiefs corners, but Watson and Williams can compete with him at the catch point a lot better. So could Christian Fulton, but whatever.
I'd like to see it.
So that's just not that's not their game. And so they've got, these big, fast downfield, they've got these downfield big receivers on the outside. Gabe Davis is pretty fast. You let your physical, bigger guys in, and then let Trent McDuffie play a lot of man on the inside. I actually think this is one of the games where, depending on how they feel about their matchups with Kincaid, the Chiefs could play a ton of man if they want to.
If they have a spy, says Remy.
Yes. And that's, and one thing I like, Spags rarely does like a straight up spy. He does a really good job having Leo or sometimes Nick Bolton, sometimes Drew Tranquil. I think Tranquil's a great fit for this, but Leo does a good job with it too. He does a great job with his spies rather than having them just hang out, 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage and try to shadow. He'll have them threaten a gap or something like that to take up an offensive lineman first and then they'll like pull to an area that the quarterback might bail out. Much more effective form of spying. Shakir is a player that scares me because the Chiefs have been a little vulnerable over the middle of the field when they decide to fiddle around with their matchups. But I do think the Chiefs secondary, if they deploy themselves the way that they really can, I think, win these one-on-one matchups all over the field in a way that forces Josh Allen to be Superman. And sometimes he is. Sometimes he'll make unbelievable throws. Like we saw Scary Terry pull down that one on the sideline against incredible coverage. That might happen. But make them do that.
Right.
Make them, maybe Josh Allen will throw this incredible ball as he's run out of bounds that tiptoes the sideline. Great. Make him do that 12 times instead of twice. If you can force him to do that, it just alters the game. You make him be Superman the entire time. You make a mistake much more likely. Khalil Shakir scares me if they decide to kind of goof around with some of the stuff that they've goofed around with that has left the middle of the field a little more open. Some of the blown coverages against the Commanders scares me a little bit.
Scares Steve Spagnuolo too.
Yes, and they tightened that crap down in the second half. They were just like, fellas, we are not doing this. So
how do you guys do it? This is complicated. I mean,
mine's
Nate
attached
is struggling
to my head permanently. So.
Yeah, Nate is struggling with his
permanent. I hope. I guess I don't know.
So there's the matchups, skill position wise. I think the Chiefs secondary matches up really well. I don't know whether they'll get much pressure, and that's always scary too. But with Allen, it's less about whether you get pressure and whether or not you're able to, in a disciplined manner, crush the pocket and get him a little bit skittish. Can you? I don't know. Allen overall has done well against Spags.
Right.
Overall.
Well, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. There are harder tells for Spags, especially with the Joe Brady scheme, than what we've seen with, Greg Roman, even with, Lamar Jackson. So, now part of their solution last year was, hey, because they have a lack of pressure, and tell me if I'm wrong, Seth, but because the Chiefs had a similar lack of pressure last year, and I think Charles Omenihu didn't play in this game, which is a slight difference from last year.
Yep.
Well, we know he's going to blitz, so if he blitzes, that's slightly going to give us man-to-man coverage, which means you just go down there, and he's got the arm to make a 50-50 ball more like 70-30 on our end.
It can be. Oh, sorry, you're still cooking.
Yeah. But that's essentially what their equation was last year in the midseason game in Buffalo. Now, that got a little bit more complicated because the Chiefs played a completely different game, especially early on, that rattled Josh Allen in the first half of the AFC Championship game. And then, of course, the blitz of the year came, to close it down. So this year, I think because you're saying they might be better positioned from a matchup with the secondary, they could play more zone to have a little bit more eyes on Allen. But I just wonder, is Steve Spagnuolo going to wait until the third, fourth quarter to really pull out some of his best blitzes?
I I personally think that they've got the horses to run even more man if they really want to.
Right.
The one problem with man coverage is depending on the personnel, and they haven't shown any indication they're going to go away from some of the way they like to use their linebackers. You are going to end up with Nick Bolton in the flat against James Cook, and that's not going to work. It's just not. Now, it will if he times it well. The problem is, and this is the thing that I've noticed more and more with Nick Bolton, for a guy who's as disciplined as he is and plays the position very well and understands where he's got to be, he jumps routes. He wants to jump routes in the middle of the field, and it gets him out of position in the flat. And Nick, love you, buddy. You're not fast enough to do that. You cannot recover to the sideline in time, and that's how you get a Commander's running back on third and whatever, just like getting,
leaky. Yeah.
And you're just like, well, man, that's like 25 yards. Buddy, you can't.
Before anybody else sees that he has the ball.
Yeah, you just you can't do that. That's of course Nick Bolton, not producer extraordinaire.
You said Nick, and I wondered if Nick Springer at some point just like look, it was like, just zoned out enough to just look up and go, "You
hey.
love me, but I'm slow."
Yeah,
what? And then Bolton, that makes sense.
So that is a matchup area that when the Chiefs do choose to play man-to-man, I think some of the decisions they make in terms of personnel and matchup stuff, that can be exploited a little bit. But one thing Spags loves to do is play iterations of match or mixed coverages, like a cover 6 type thing. Or you've got mixed coverages where you've got man on one side of the field and zone on the other. Yep. He loves to do that where the side of the field that Bolton is on, they're playing zone. And the other side of the field, they're playing man. And that works out generally pretty well as a way to avoid getting exploited. One thing I love about what the Chiefs have currently in terms of their secondary personnel, they really do have 6 guys that I really do want on the field all the time. I want McDuffie, of course. I want McDuffie, Watson, and Williams on the field at all times. I also want Cook, Hicks, and Connor on the field at all times. I just don't want... That's where some people are like, oh, get Connor off my team. No, Connor's playing well this year, but he's playing safety.
And hey, he's tackling.
He is
phenomenal compared to one of the things that you remember, if I need to remind you guys, one of the things that not only did Spags play a very like rudimentary game plan, and he had some guys in and out of position, they also missed a boatload of tackles.
Yes.
That allowed Shakir to have one of his better games of the season. And if you miss him, he can burn you. So at least this version of Chamari Connor through 8 games has been a much better tackling defender, which is why, to Seth's point, you would want him on the field even more because they have not given up that many explosive plays in the passing game.
Yeah, I really like the idea of utilizing 3 safety. I don't know how you get into it. There's so many different ways they can do it, but I really wish they would utilize 3 safeties at the same time as having 3 corners on the field. And I know that gets complicated because they really don't like getting that light because they don't want to be light against the run. But I would just, so this is a great question. Jameson Reber asked, so you'd rather be in dime than have all 3 linebackers? Generally speaking, yes.
Especially if you have a lead.
Yeah, and it depends on personnel, but yes, if you have a lead especially. Now, here's the problem, and this is where I think Spags has tough decisions to make, because personnel-wise, in the linebacker room with how Tranquil's playing this year, how Leo's developed as a player, how Nick Bolton's developed as a player, you want those guys on the field too, generally speaking.
Yes.
Their defensive line is by far the weakest position group. It just is. And that's where you've got some tough decisions to make because, like, Drew Tranquil and Leo Chanel in particular are so varied in what they can do that it's tough to bring them off the field. Like when you've got Leo on the field, you can we might play him as, a will linebacker, or we might line him up at nose tackle at 0 tech. And it's like, yeah, but why would you do that? But why wouldn't you do that? And it's like, because it's insane. Is it though? Like you can picture this whole conversation and it's just very funny. So he's got tough decisions to make there, but those are good decisions.
Right.
I personally think with the way that they've struggled with missed tackles, the big play type stuff, some things Allen does, some of the way that the Bills honestly want to win in the run game, I think you're probably going to see more of the linebacker crew. I think you're going to see more base. And it'll be really interesting to see how Spags utilizes alignments to kind of mess with their run game.
Right.
Well, before we get to the other side of the ball, let's take our second time out here. We'll come back and talk a little bit about the Chiefs' offense versus a version of this Bills' defense that, well, I think I know where Nate's take is going to take us. We'll get there next.
My name is Terrell Jolly. A lot of people call me TJ, founder and CEO of Integrity Capital Management. So Integrity Capital Management originally started out as a property management firm, but we slowly transitioned to what is described as an incremental development firm that's focused on situational housing. I know most people say affordable, but we believe in creating housing for people that are actually in need and built to the end user. I believe everyone needs a home because when you have home, you have hope. The reality is that when you're building a business, one thing you don't think about is like what a true banking relationship means. And, I had the honor and privilege of meeting Debbie early on in my career when I was just trying to get going. And as a small business, it's really challenging at times because people don't understand the concept or not believe the longevity because you're just getting started. But Debbie was willing to take a chance on me, be patient with me. I almost look at it like a grassroots initiative. She's seen and believe what I'm about. Anybody that's really true about their business and want to get some things done, I would definitely trust hands down Enterprise because Deb's team, along with Aaron and Jackie and all the amazing people that work behind the scenes, even from the treasury side, I would say, hey, give them an opportunity because you won't be disappointed and you will actually be in hands that actually somebody care and that will see you from start to finish.
Few stories at hand here with the Chiefs offense versus the Bills defense. I will bring up here just while we're at it that the Bills schedule this year started with 4 wins over the Ravens before we had a pulse on what they were going to be. Yep. Jets, Dolphins, and Saints, 3 bad football teams, most of which have tried to make a quarterback change. Only one of them succeeded. Then losses to the now division-leading Patriots and to the bizarrely aimless Falcons, and then they blew the doors off the Carolina Panthers last week. So I want to get to some of the things that the Chiefs will do, but Nate, where do we begin in terms of what the Bills have here? Because I feel like Sean McDermott usually gets quite a bit of credit for making the most of his parts, and I don't know if the Bills have so far this year.
You want me to say it, Josh, don't you?
Nate,
you want me to say it? You want me to say it? I'll say it.
Nate, there is not a single person within the sound of this podcast who thinks I have any control over when you do or do not speak and what you do and do not say.
Okay, fine.
You are your own man, and everyone knows this. The only thing that might have a little bit of a control on you is that rat on your shoulder, and I'm not talking about Seth.
Remy, should I tell him?
The bleep did I do?
I wasn't talking about you.
Hey, look. They can run this clip, okay? Not that they should, because they're professional athletes. And
they should, because you are in a costume.
All right, well then run it, Sean. They ain't got the horses. Man. Look, they've struggled to tackle this year. They've struggled against tight ends. We know that the Chiefs have had a speed advantage. That was one of the things that was probably most. It had to be excruciating for Matt Nagy to be like, we schemed Xavier Worthy to be open by a mile last year, and he couldn't keep the ball in bounds. Now, some of that was Mahomes, and
I forgot about that play.
Him under pressure. Oh, I'll never forget it because he was a county wide open and it ended in an incompletion. Well, now they have even more speed on the field because Tyquan Thornton.
They should maybe actually play.
But I actually think Tyquan Thornton is, at least for the last 2 games, is still terrified secondaries enough for you to be productive. Yes. But yes, you should actually use Tyquan Thornton. He's one of the new wrinkles for this year's midseason matchup. You have Rashee Rice, who was injured last year. You only have a limited amount of tape. I want to remind people, Rashee Rice has still not ran a sophisticated route. That's how good he is. He doesn't even need to run a good route yet. He's so good. They should throw him the ball 8 times behind the line of scrimmage and just see if the Bills can tackle. Just see if they can tackle. They don't have the horses, man. And with Ed Oliver be injured, and he had his injury last Sunday against the Carolina Panthers, one of the more devastating injuries for a unit that was already teetering, right? So the Falcons, and I just want to remind people, the Falcons in that Monday night game did have Michael Penix. They did have Drake London. They did have Kyle Pitts, and they had Bijan Robinson.
Huge Bijan game.
Now, if you remember, the Chiefs, as we said earlier, will likely not have Isaiah Pacheco. So you're going to be dealing with Kareem Hunt, which Seth is going to tell you about, just how effective he's been in his role, and Brashard Smith, who has plenty of speed, plenty of ability to break tackles. They struggled against those guys. All right? This is Patrick Mahomes, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce. If they just don't do dumb you know what and protect the football, 30 should be like the requirement.
They did do dumb stuff and didn't protect the football against the Commanders, and they still put up 28 without really breaking a sweat. The offense. So there's a few things to think about with the Bills. I personally think the Bills have done a good job giving the Chiefs offense some problems the last several years in particular.
Yep.
The problem with that perspective is that the Chiefs really have had some personnel limitations the last couple of years. Left tackle, we all know what was going on last year. That was a legitimately weak spot. And the wide receiver room, when they played them, again, Worthy wasn't who he is now. And Worthy's still developing. Like, I'm still really, like, I've seen him open up on some intermediate stuff where he's running like almost like a deep curl, threatening deep, like kind of Hollywood Brown's bread and butter when he was in Arizona. And I'm like, I feel like we could run more of these guys and target him here. But whatever. Their wide receiver room last year was just not nearly as good as it is now.
Right.
They legitimately have. I was talking to I think Seren Petro about this, and I commented how they legitimately have like 5 different guys that, like, I'm okay with almost any combination of them. You know, it's weird when Rice comes off the field, but like for the most part, unless you like legitimately only, like, let's say they put out there Tyquan Thornton, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Hollywood Brown, that trio with how they're playing this year is arguably better than any 11 personnel they had last year.
Right.
And that's weird, right? That's their 3-4. That's their 3-4-5. And again, that doesn't mean like that would be a limited group that would have some issues, but that's not how it is, of course. Right. Most of your trios consist of some iteration of Rice, Worthy, and someone. Or, you know what I mean? Or like it's going to include Rice or Worthy almost every time. They are a lot faster than that Bills defense. One thing I just would note by EPA per play, and remember, EPA per play is how good are you at moving the ball or stopping them from moving the ball. The Chiefs on defense are 7th in the league, and the Bills are 13th. And the Bills have not exactly played a murderer's row of offenses. They played some good ones.
Correct.
But it's just tough because styles make fights. But the one way that McDermott has managed to give the Chiefs trouble is they've pretty consistently been able to get some pressure on Mahomes with 4, which last year everyone could because of the left tackle stuff. And in 2023, they were still kind of able to. And some of that was Oliver plays Trey Smith about as well as any defensive tackle in the league. He's just really quick.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Ed Oliver's not as good as Chris Jones, but
he's good.
He's really good, and they rely on him to set up a lot of stuff by being tough to block one-on-one in the way the Chiefs often rely on Chris Jones. So that's a huge loss for them. And we've seen, like, when Mahomes settled down in the second half against the Commanders, we saw when Mahomes is comfortable in the pocket and even comfortable with how he's rolling or how he's climbing the pocket, it's just, I mean, even Aikman was saying it on the broadcast. He's like, if you give this guy time, he's going to carve you up. Yep. And the thing is, the Bills don't have a great secondary either. So I do think the Bills got to put up 30 to win this one. But I also, there's a small part of me, because McDermott's crew has played the Chiefs offense pretty well for years now, there's a part of me that's waiting to see it against a team that's not the Raiders, not the Commanders, not the injured Lions, not the Ravens, not the Jags. Like, the Chiefs haven't really played a murderer's row of defenses. I want to see how it looks, and I want to see that they can stay out of their way and just keep chugging along. And this and the Denver game are going to be the two ones where I'm like, okay. And then, of course, we'll just be ready for Lou Anarumo to, ruin me right after I get my hopes up again.
I forgot about man. I was already beginning to respect them, and now I remember Lou Anarumo.
I really respect the Colts. Shout out to our girl, man. She gonna be on the headset making calls. Like, what does that check mean? Incredible.
Well, thank God the Bengals got him out of town, so that way. Hey, by the way, NFC teams.
He might have found a way to use Mike Pennel.
Yeah. But I still cannot believe that, where it's just like, oh, we think the defense is too complicated for these young guys. Then why did you draft them? Like, and I get that, sometimes simplifying can be a good thing, but that was so crazy to me. And now you see him with good talent, but not incredible talent with the Colts, and they're playing really well. And you're like, yeah, because he's a good defensive coordinator. So the only thing, and then we'll move on because I know they're not for multiple weeks. I think I'm going to be at that game, by the way. Which, by the way, guys, barbecue Korean fusion. That restaurant.
Colts game? You're saying Colts game?
Yeah.
I'm in culinary, Seth. Of course I'll be there.
Okay. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll just have barbecue.
I'm a chef.
I do just want to say one thing. Lou, you couldn't have picked an NFC team. You couldn't have done it. Couldn't have gone to.
He saw that Carly was writing them checks. She the one signing checks, man. Carly.
Yeah.
Great hire. I mean, look, Carly know what she doing. All right, which is give the ball to Jonathan Taylor. You dopes.
That might be the best leadership that you can possibly give in that scenario.
She said, "Man, my father was really mean to Jonathan Taylor. But he's good at football, right?" And they said, "Yeah, he's really good. Why don't we give him the ball then?" Oh, right.
I have an explosive Colts take that I'm not going to give right now because I'm afraid that it would end this podcast, and I'm still workshopping it a little bit. But we'll talk about it in a couple of weeks, if not sooner. We do go ahead. Yes, Nate.
No.
I heard a snake hissing from Nate's box here.
No, Remy says I should
Deep breath. It's good.
Yep. No, he's controlling me, right? So I'm gonna let you have the floor. Remy knows what's best.
Okay, thank you, Remy. I had no idea what an important. You know what? Today, executive producer Remy the Rat. Huge get for us here. Happy to have him. We've talked a lot about adding the mouse to this show, but ultimately it was a rat that really brought it together. Seth, let's get into. The Kareem Hunt situation here for this Bills game is kind of unfortunate, really, because we're going to talk about him specifically in short yardage, and now I don't know how many touches he's going to get on Sunday in Buffalo, but it's going to be more without Isaiah Pacheco, who, again, hasn't practiced yet this week.
Right.
Rashard Smith can get some more work. Elijah Mitchell should certainly be active. The Chiefs have kept him on the active roster. This is why he's on the active roster. I don't know what he's going to look like, but you just wrote about this in the Chief of the North newsletter. Kareem Hunt has been remarkably effective in short yardage. We all know this at this point now, but I was very interested to open up your article and think, okay, great. Well, Seth, tell me, why is he so good in short yardage? Because he's not 400 pounds and just moving forward 3 yards at a time. There's an art and maybe a science to what he's doing there. What's made him so effective there? And then we'll expand that out into his role on Sunday.
It's like anything else. It's kind of a combination of traits that work together. And you have to start off with the interior offensive line has done some good work. Before Trey Smith went down, he was obviously a huge part of it. They built their run game around him. But actually this year, and this is what's been kind of fun, even before Smith got hurt, they're also building the run game a little bit around Kingsley Suamataia.
Yeah, baby.
And they can go from either direction. And Suamataia, we'll see. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop, but man, I'm worried about the Forrest Buckner. But and we'll see what happens against the Broncos and their crazy pass rush. But Kingsley, I've been really, really happy with what he's been doing, and they'll build around. They can build around that. So he's done a great job in the run game, especially in short yardage. Creed has done an incredible job in short yardage. Andy has really diversified his concepts in short yardage. So all that is part of it. But Kareem Hunt, if you look at it, so NFL Pro lets you separate out plays. 22 times Kareem Hunt has been handed the ball with 2 or less yards to gain. So whether it's to get a first down or a touchdown. So I expanded on, because people are always talking about 3rd and 4th downs, but I wanted to see short yardage, period. 22 times. They've converted 20 of those, and the one of the 2 that he didn't convert was on a 3rd and 1, then he converted on 4th and 1. So he's doing a brilliant job of it. Here's the thing. It's a combination of traits. He is patient. He has good vision.
It's great vision.
He's got good lateral agility. He can get skinny. And by that, like, you can have this very small hole for him to go through, and he just has this ability to maintain bounce and kind of shrink his shoulders in and get a little sideways, get a little skinny, and get through the hole in a way that, like, Pacheco just can't. Pacheco will try to drive through it, and he just can't. There's that certain amount of fluidity that Hunt has. He has no explosion. None. But he's still fluid, and he's also got some lateral agility. He cuts well to the left or the right, which is what allows him to take advantage of that vision, because you can see it all day, but if you can't get there, it doesn't matter. That's why the one conversion that he didn't make was on more of a stretch to the outside. He just couldn't get there. They are relying on his ability to have good phone booth agility. He makes decisions quickly, gets vertical quickly, and it's really fun to watch the variety of ways that he's able to succeed as a short yardage back. So that's one of the most fun things I've written this year, where you can really look at how quickly he has to make some of these cutback decisions, where it's like, okay, it's 4th and 1. The original play calls Trey Smith's pulling around. I'm supposed to follow him. But the Ravens conducted a great run blitz right there. And there are 3 defenders that are all going to meet Trey. 2, I'd probably follow Trey because, they're both secondary guys. Honestly, that would have been really cool. But, 3, I don't know. But on the other side here, Kingsley's kind of trying to execute a double team, but he's not really on a good angle. And there's barely a sliver of daylight there. I can make that work. And you got to make these decisions in a split second. And he does such a great job just getting vertical. He makes a decision and goes. He paces his runs. He doesn't just get the handoff and sprint. You see his feet are always moving,
yes,
but he's almost chopping his feet to where he's always ready to cut, but he's not sprinting. He'll follow blockers, and when you have that fluidity to you that he does have, even though he's not the athlete he used to be, it really does create a situation where you're really tough to stop, even if it's only blocked up okay, or even if someone misses their block. Now, he's not like a guy like Saquon Barkley who's going to make someone miss completely in the backfield. Oh, he's got strength through contact too, not just bounce through contact. He can power through guys. And so it's really a combination of those things, which I touched on this a little bit in the article, and I want to just praise him mostly here. But it does, and I'm sure he thinks about this a lot, he lost a couple of years of his prime.
Yeah.
He used to have all that and average to slightly above average explosion. You combine all those, you have a legitimately elite running back. He had the goods for that, and you can see him
Kids
playing.
watch that 2018 Chiefs offense, because, guys, it was 2 people. It wasn't just Patrick. Whoo, he was so good in 2018.
He was terrific as well.
Right.
I mean, he came on and he immediately won the job. He was
right.
excellent. And I'm sure he thinks about that, because sometimes you just don't get things back. Mm-hmm. And then all you can do is move forward. And that's one thing that's been nice. And I feel like you always got to, I mean, it's not like something, he wasn't victimized. He did something terrible, then lied about it, and has said all the right things since then about he paid a price. Fair enough. But you see him as someone that you can kind of see a little bit of how happy he is to, like, hey, I almost lost this. I am going to appreciate this and try to do everything right from here on out. Young men should really follow that example, Rashee Rice, and really understand and learn something. So it's a cool thing.
Hey, you know whose locker is right across from good old Kareem Hunt?
I think that's a good thing, to be able to know how quickly you can lose all of this and have things taken away from you. And to see him morph, he's not a bell cow back anymore, although they treated him like one last year.
Last year?
That dude, I just remember he's like, It's like, man, that dude needs the ice tub so bad. It's just like, I was on my couch 2 weeks ago, guys. You just gave me like 28 carries.
Remember what I said against the first game he had against the Chargers? He said, "Hey, wait, guys, I gotta go get the ice tub." Never saw him again. Never saw him again after the game. They had to pull him out of the ice tub to get him to get on the plane.
He was still in there when you left, actually.
Yeah, they brought the ice tub onto the plane. So it's really cool, though, seeing someone adapt to their limitations.
Yes.
And learn how to be a really important contributor, even if you're not quite what you used to be. That's a really cool thing to watch. He's got great chemistry with Mahomes. I assume he'll probably be kind of the lead back, although it would be fun to see them experiment with Brashard. And so it'll be interesting to see how they figure all that out.
Nate, that's kind of what I'll make our last real thing here for you. With Pacheco not tracking to play, what is the plan? Not even just for like the number of snap counts or whatever, but the offense is different depending on who's back there to some extent. Like there is some overlap, but there's also some distinct differences, certainly from Kareem Hunt to Brashard Smith, even though we've seen them on the field together for at least a play or two. Think about that one where they both run out for routes out of the backfield, and Mahomes went to Hunt. It's like, someday that'll go to Brashard Smith. But what do you expect there? And is there anything that we ought to know on the Elijah Mitchell front? I thought Andy's comments about him yesterday were not particularly additive to the deal, but he has been on the 53-man roster this entire time. I hope everyone understands the level I'm operating on here. But if they didn't think that Elijah Mitchell would be a guy they wanted to play some snaps for them this year, they would have cut him and either stuck him on the practice squad or let Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Carson Steele take that job, because those guys are on the practice squad right now. So there has to be a plan for Elijah Mitchell, because otherwise, why carry him on the 53? You need roster spots. And it makes sense at the position. You're going to have a running back get hurt during a 17-game regular season. So I think what they've done with Mitchell is fine with me to this point, but I would like to see him get some touches. Is it going to be Elijah Mitchell in emergency mode only? Is it going to be 70% Kareem Hunt, 30% Brashard Smith, Elijah Mitchell there to be ready if one of those guys gets hurt? What's your best guess for the running back rotation in Buffalo?
I like your last one the most. 70% Kareem Hunt, 30% Brashard Smith. You might want to increase that if Smith gets hot early in the game. And again, shows that he can, break tackles, show off some speed based on obviously the scoreboard, game script, all that. If Kareem is your primary running back, does he need a spell on third down? Well, then you should choose the veteran over the rookie.
Sure.
In pass pro, understanding, hey, if we think they might blitz, let Mahomes check, let him go to the veteran guy who's done it before. Not this season, but has done it before in his career. And let's see how Mitchell does in that sort of space, with the chance to maybe, catch something out of the backfield on occasion if you need to be the guy that, free releases out of a blitz. You might want to run, just an occasional screen game for him just to see how he looks in open space. That's the biggest question I have for Elijah Mitchell is like, okay, we saw what you did in training camp, which wasn't a ton, but they also didn't do anything that was like game plan specific. Hey, these are the screen passes that we'll use you with if you have the opportunity to play. So those would be my thoughts. But again, I think for Chiefs fans, when it comes to the running game, you should rely on the hopefully 3 to 4 yards at a touch with Kareem. Obviously still be excellent in short yardage, red zone. But the more they can play Brashard Smith in this game, I think the more it might serve him for the second half of the season, just because they've been developing him to this point, and now you actually have a bit of an opportunity to give him increased looks if things go a certain way, say second, third quarter.
Seth, last target to you here. Anything offensively you're looking for in Chiefs Bills? I don't think losing Isaiah Pacheco inherently changes the offense, but it does shake up the running back room. They were already going to let Rashee Rice be an extension of the running game. That's not new, but I assume that's something that you're going to say.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot more of that stuff. I think they might continue to line up pretty heavy, see if they can isolate Rice a little more like they've been trying to, because teams haven't found an answer for it yet. Yep. And I don't think the Bills have the horses for that. I would really love to see them utilize Brashard Smith on first and second down some and let Hunt be the third down and short yardage guy. I would really like to see them expand on Smith and see what he can do as a runner, because he does add an explosive element, and he's run really hard. Like, he's not just fast. He's willing to take on guys. Now, he's not setting up his blockers as well as Hunt does, and it's not really close, but I don't know that he's worse at it than Pacheco. And so I would just like to at least see him get 6 or 7 legitimate carries. And that would allow you to rest Kareem Hunt and to where he's there for third down. Because I don't think you can play Brashard Smith on third down if you have him as a blocker. I mean, maybe he's worked on it a ton, and you never know. But
Is it Christmas?
That was me. My bad.
I would just love to see. Oh him
my
get legitimate
goodness.
chances.
The first time happens. You fixed it, and then it happened again, Nate.
I hit the wrong button. That's funny. Remy just wanted to hear some music before he gets to it.
No, you didn't do that.
Before
That
he
was
gets
Remy's bad.
Look, before he washes himself and gets ready for the night shift. I mean, I just wanted to, the dinner rush. He just wanted to get in the groove. Yes, this is very professional operation. Very, very professional. I'm sorry.
Well,
you were wanting something? My guy has to check what the shoe chefs are doing in the back.
Right. Well, I know Remy's a very busy rat, so I'll go ahead, and I don't really care if it's you or him that gives us the final thoughts, but that is going to do it for this edition of Only Weird Games. We've got a big game on the horizon. We'll be back on Tuesday to break down whatever we see in Chiefs Bills. So I'll wish you all a very happy Halloween. So Nate and his little rat friend, not Seth. I don't know who keeps making that joke.
Guys!
I hope you can get us out of here and send this into both a spooky Friday and hopefully not a very spooky Sunday.
Hey, chill out. Don't lean so much into the microphone, okay? We all can hear you. Anyway, now, guys, I want you to know, we take this job extremely professional. This is very critical to our lives, all right? You will not find a better Chiefs podcast that really breaks it down, gives you insight, and takes on a professional approach to what you've heard, okay? What you've seen is the most buttoned up operation I can have. I know it looks a certain way, but when you put that fork in that ratatouille by this man here, it's gonna bring you back to childhood glory, okay? Now look, some would ask, Nate, there was no Remy in your life before ESPN showed up. And yes, I am a Disney employee, but I've always known Remy. Remy's always been my friend, okay? Now look, we said the Bills stink and that the Chiefs are great, okay? That's what Remy said. If there's anything that goes wrong over the next weekend, you bring it to Chef, okay? I am a messenger, he the boss, okay? He says Matt Milano stinks, okay? He's the one who says Keon Coleman can't get open against a garbage man, okay? Or I'm garbage boy, not garbage man, right? Garbage boy, that's right.
Is that what does he call you garbage boy? That doesn't sound healthy.
Well, that's because Skinner back in the day, before we had to get him up out of here, get him up out of the kitchen, because this is my rightful place. This where the family's been, right? It's in my name, right? Yeah, hell yeah, Nate Dogg, we cooking in Tuscaloosa too. Remy will get you that meat off the bone, okay? Remy know what he doing. He out here in France. Shout out to Parisi. They always know. They always get my boy right here. Have another sip. Nice. All right. Hey, we got to get going. A lot of chef specials tonight. If you want to come to the crib, Remy will hand you out candy tomorrow, okay? What we not going to do is have you kidnap Remy, okay? That's what we not gonna do. My rat be cooking, okay? Your rat be on that wheel looking stupid. All right. What was the last thing you wanted to say?
I think he was gonna give out your personal home address.
Oh,
We can all
yeah,
come by
yeah.
and get candy tomorrow.
Yeah. So look, Remy. All we trying to say is they should take that. What, Remy? You said they should take that stadium and blow it up because they never gonna win anything in that stadium? Wow, Remy, that's crazy.
I think my devotional is about Chiefs Bills. A